And we are back with Brunch, a taste of Tobago. Thank you so much, guys, for staying with us. And this is our grassroots segment. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, I told you about the segments, the wonderful segments that we have on our show. And so we're on to grassroots. We speak to our sons and daughters of the soil who are doing really big things and impacting the world positively. And my next guest is no stranger, it's no secret. He is the senior life skills coach at Harvard Medical and learning to identify stress, learning to manage it. These are some of the questions that I know many of you have. So, without further ado, let us welcome Selwyn Bhajan to the brunch set. And we are going to be speaking candidly about stress management, learning to identify, learning to manage. So, good morning to you and welcome to Brunch, a taste of Tobago. All right. So, we're going to delve right in. Did I pronounce your last name correctly? Is it Bajan? All right. So, could you just turn your mic on for me? Yeah, just turn your mic on. Yeah. All right. So we are discussing stress management. We are discussing how to identify with stress.
With
And
stress.
it's quite a buzz, not just in the medical community now. It's like just a buzz in every space. Everything is stress related nowadays. Everything is about stress. And it's good that we're having this conversation because everyone experiences this in their life. So let's start with what is stress?
Is stress.
What is stress?
Okay, so stress.
What is stress?
Okay, so stress is an overload on the mind or the body, an overload. It could be an overload of joy. It could be an overload of pain. It could be an overload of tension, of confusion. But once there's an overload, meaning it is accumulating in the system, we call that stress. Any overload that is accumulating in the system and the person is not in a state of balance or harmony, that's stress. But we need to add to that a lot of today's lifestyle illnesses are stress related. We might have a predisposition towards diabetes or high blood pressure because of DNA reasons and so on. But high blood pressure, insomnia is plaguing the world. The United States is spending billions of dollars on insomnia treatments. Diabetes, tension, depression, suicide. A lot of manifestations are from accumulations of overload, people not in balance. And one of the reasons why there is this imbalance is because we are being fooled by certain kind of gimmickries. If we fast food, if we dress a certain way, if we drink these drinks, for example, and I don't want to go contrary to advertisement, but alcohol don't make anybody sexy. But with every alcohol poster is a sexy woman, unfortunately. So we are fooled by some of these messages and we go after them. And that brings these overloads and imbalances that result in these lifestyle illnesses. So we are trying to teach people to counteract lifestyle illnesses. Now, I'm trained, as you mentioned, at Harvard Medical School in lifestyle medicine in mind body medicine and in cognitive behavior therapy. So I'm meeting a lot of people who are not addressing the overloads and are getting ill as a result of it.
You know, it's so wonderful that you said
It's
that
so wonderful that
because
you said that because
I was gonna go to
I was going to go
health
to
and
health.
how does stress affect one's health?
So
That's where I was going with the
that's where I
next
was
question.
next question.
Yes, well, it's like this proliferation of lifestyle illnesses.
Yes.
Okay, let's just take one for example. One of the big stressors is relationship issues. Relationship issues might seem okay, we're going to deal with it now. We'll take a drink, we'll relax, we'll go to sleep. But when relationship issues are affecting us, the back is affected, the brain is affected, the heart is affected. So th- there are many things that are happening that invisibly, stress is an invisible enemy, invisibly accumulates and the system deteriorates. So I'm 75 years old now. I was the corporate human resources manager for the largest state corporation in the Caribbean. So I come from the real world story. I'm not in some abstract philosophical thing. And people are just overworked. People are busy. People are not taking time out for self care. And people are going towards gimmick things, feeling that it will make you feel better, and it actually makes you feel more dependent and worse, more dependent on stress producing things. So, Tobago, for example, I was there last week, I was there the week before. I'm working with some groups in Tobago. I'm training some stress management counselors to counsel people in Tobago. Tobago has all the blessings of the sea and the air and the cleanliness and the village life. But still, there's a lot of stress because even in beautiful Tobago, people are just overwhelmed being busy. We are busy being busy. We don't take time off to care for self, and we pay the price in health issues, the point that you were making, in the system breaking down. And because of tendencies, different individual has different tendencies, it will manifest itself in the high blood pressure. It will manifest itself in uncontrolled diabetes. It will manifest in the disease of insomnia, not being able to sleep. It will manifest itself in poor relationships that then escalate in other things. So we are spending time in my retirement from the corporate world. I'm dedicating a lot of time to helping people come to terms with their lifestyle and make the choices that don't end up in illnesses and imbalances and depression, but end up in joy because we have the potential for happiness, for balance, for joy. And Harvard, where I studied, has done enormous research in longevity living, which means long, healthy, and happy living. And that's a knowledge we're sharing with others.
Yeah, and I hear people
Yeah, and
speaking
I
on
hear people speaking on
stress and
stress.
weight gain. Is there any relationship there between stress and weight gain?
Huh? Is that?
Stress and weight gain. My
Stress
apologies, you didn't hear me before. What is the relationship there, if any, between stress and weight gain?
in stress and weight gain.
The body is unable to control the digestion of food, and so it produces an excessive weight production in the system. That's one. The body tries to counteract stress sometimes by putting on weight as if it is like a cushion to the system, but that creates now new illnesses. So there is a correlation between stress and weight gaining, but we are trying to teach people. For example, the Harvard study shows us about the need for resting, the need for relaxation, and we are having this workshop of cultivating personal and professional work-life balance. A lot of people, strangely enough, don't have the personal and work-life balance, and they eat the wrong way, and they don't exercise according to age and requirements. So eating and eating habits and type of food and non-exercise and desk jobs and so on. We put on weight, and that puts on new strain on the heart and nervous system. Yes, there's a correlation, and we need to watch that. And I think there is a problem in Tobago with stress and weight gain. I think there's a problem there. And while you have all the nature and creation and so on, I think eating habits need to be looked at. The fry food habits, the type of exercise we might be doing, because exercise is particular to each individual. One of the big research findings is the amount of rest or sleep we are getting. So yes, there's a correlation between stress and weight gain that we need to pay attention to, and you have to be coached and counseled individually, because each individual has a different type of body, a different type of nervous system, and foods. We have to look at food very carefully.
Definitely. And we want to talk
And
about
you know, we
your workshop. But before we do that, this has been a burning question for some time now. Um, how do we find ways to manage our stress levels? Or what are some of the ways, rather, in managing our stress levels?
So first of all, we have to know ourselves. We have to know what causes us to be imbalanced. And it varies with individuals. So a little guidance, a little counseling about what is my nature, my unique state, and what causes me to be stressed. Something that causes John to be stressed out might not stress out Mary, so to speak. So self-awareness is important. So you have to be aware what causes me at the end of the day, what I've done today that has me so overwhelmed, so mashed up. So that's one of the things. But Harvard has identified about 15 different practices for management of stress. What is interesting is that none of them cost any money, but they do cost time. For example, we must find time in this busy world for silence and solitude. The world is full of noise, all kinds of noise. So, one of the things we must do is have in our routine of living ways of being silent and having solitude, whether it's prayerfulness, meditation, just sitting by the beach, listening to the waves, whatever. So, we guide people to individually develop methods of silence and solitude. We guide people to do appropriate exercises, body movements, age specific body movements and exercises. We teach people how to eat properly. For example, the nervous system, has a capacity called salivation. And when we are accustomed to eating fast, 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 that's what's happening these days in our little country of Trinidad and Tobago. Hustling and hustling eating. We have to slow down on eating and use eating time as therapy. Eat slowly, salivate the food, bring it into the nervous system, eat more vegetables, fresh fruits and juices, more peas and legumes, um, cut down on red meat consumption, not stop eating meat, but cut down on the consumption of meat because it has a habit of putting pressure on the nervous system. Being hydrated, make sure we are drinking water, even if we have to go to the bathroom often, but the hydration of the nervous system, making sure we're getting a lot of rest. A lot of people now, late into the nights, getting up next day, and with time, the pattern of non sleeping destroys the nervous system. There is the interesting one about relationships. If we are in relationships that are abusive or diminishing of us or make us feel horrible constantly, that is one of the major stress factors. Relationships that diminish us, don't uplift us, don't bring us joy. But we say we're in love or we're married or whatever, but still the relationships are unhealthy. Sometimes we become victims. We have one of the stress things is to look and see if we are victims, and we enjoy being victims of overwork, victims of abusive relationships. There's a victim mentality that a counselor, a person like myself, have to sit with people and show them that they are victimizing themselves with work, or with just going after money, or in relationships that are unhealthy. So there are many things. And in our workshop, which we will be launching on the 14th of this month, it's a virtual seminar. We're having a 1 day seminar, and we will be going through all the points from Harvard University about how to identify and manage stress. In an interview, I could highlight some, but to talk about it needs a little more time. Now, just yesterday, I had a wonderful Zoom conference with about 10, 15 people from Tobago, professionals. We had a 1 hour session about the same stress development. And because of that, I was inspired to have this 1 day conference on balancing personal life and professional life and looking at stress factors. So we'll be having it will be on our Facebook and so on. I will be having this 1 day seminar for Trinidad and Tobago on balancing personal and professional life. And then I'm setting up some operations in Tobago. I'm coming to Tobago I'm also the head of a City and Guilds program. And so we're bringing to Tobago City and Guilds program in cosmetology, in employability, in hospitality, and in this counseling for personal and professional life balance. And I'm going to be training some people in Tobago. I started it very slowly, but we'll be training some people to be life coaches in Tobago, just to uplift the quality of life. But yes, there are a whole listing of things that we need to do to manage our stress. And one is very simply to have these moments where we eat slowly, where we could go in solitude and quietness, where we self care and we don't just work, because we can make all the money in the world and pay the price in illnesses and so on. So when I come back to Tobago, I will come to the television station. I'll come back to you and we'll talk a little bit more, and we'll announce some more programs at Tobago and so on. But it's important. One of the maladies of our time is that people are being overwhelmed with life, with work, with relationships. We look for simple shortcut solutions like drinking or sexuality or something like that. And it does not solve the problems of the stress factor that is impacting in our lives. So we have to gradually bring the awareness to people of how they can identify the stress factors. It takes a little time to sit with people And then the practices that don't cost any money: what to eat, how to eat, what exercises are appropriate. One of the biggest ones is to go in the sea and soak. And
We have
sometimes
to
I
do
talk
that.
to professionals in
Have to
Tobago
do that.
and they tell me they don't have time for it. In Tobago, they don't have time to go to the
Yeah.
sea. And the sea is regenerative. Another one is to walk around barefoot. Funny, eh? There's energy from planet Earth that comes up from the soil and sand. And just taking time and walking is called mindful walking. Walk slowly, mindfully, listen to the nature and the sounds. Tobago full of that. That's why I want to set up a wellness center in Tobago, because you have all the elements for really healthy and happy living.
Definitely. And yes, I think we have
Definitely.
the
And yeah,
ideal environment here for that sort of experience. We just want to thank you so much for being a part of Brunch today. Thank you for this wonderful conversation. We definitely have to have you back because there still are questions with relation to children and stress and education and studying. And those are some questions that we have to bring to the forefront, especially for our parents viewing. So we're definitely going to have you back. And we just want to thank you once again for being a part of our show. So, guys, that was it. That was it for brunch today. Thank you to Selwyn Bhajan for being a part of our discussion today. Stress and learning to identify and manage it. And we definitely got some of those questions answered. And we are so privileged and happy that he took the time to be with us today. So that is it for brunch, guys. Thank you so much for being with us. Live, love, life. From all family to yours, blessings and peace and success in whatever you endeavor to do. Let me just remind you about our trivia question. And yes, we did have a winner today. What is another name for the national bird, the cockrecot? And the answer to that question is the rufous tailed chakachalaka. Yes. I had to take my time in order to say that correctly. Our winner for today, Bambi Lee. Congratulations. And we will be reaching out to you soon. So do not despair. Thank you for being a part of Brunch and thank you for watching. We thank you for being here. And we're going to see you again on Wednesday. Join us again for another exciting edition of Brunch, a taste of Tobago. Have a blessed day, and we'll see you on Wednesday. Bye bye.